But what's crazy though, and a lot of people didn't catch this. Riri was actually a very important role to this movie. You know why?
You know that.
Because Riri is going to introduce Spider-Man. You know why I say that?
Which one though? We talking about this Tom Holland one?
Yes, and the reason why I say that is because the college she went to is a college where Mary Jane is at, MIT.
MIT. Oh yeah, you right.
Yeah.
So she was
So
going to. So she was going to two different schools at the time. I see.
yeah, so Mary Jane got accepted into MIT, and
Yeah.
that's
So
the
yeah.
school that it said when they popped up on her, it said some institution technical school. That's what MIT is, and that's actually where I know they're probably gonna bring in. You know, they'll probably have her cross paths with blah 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 blah. We also know at this time, no one remembers who Spider Man is, besides maybe Strange and I mean who else, right? Or maybe somebody from the multiverse. But I think that they'll probably cross paths, and with how smart Riri is, right? How she can invent crazy things, they might, who knows? Like they might do something where it's like she creates some type of device that restores memory. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows? Like, but
Right.
that was a Easter egg. That was like, dang, that's so crazy. Like they could definitely introduce, you know, because obviously MCU and Sony and everything have been partnered with Spider-Man and all stuff anyway. But the fact that they said she went to MIT, that was a big Easter egg right there. So I'm like, that's why they using her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know they gonna find a way to connect because I'm like they literally got a full squad of the Young Avengers now. Like it's literally like damn near like more than 8 or like 9 characters at this point now. So I'm like
Yeah,
they gonna
yeah.
find a
And
way to
Iron,
bring them all together.
yeah, and Iron Man is the one who funds MIT. Like, and Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? Their relationship. She's going to the college. Mary Jane's going to. Like, I feel like it's gonna all tie in somehow. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but you know, eventually though,
Yeah, I feel
she
you.
went back, and remember also she didn't take her suit with her. It was like, I like your suit, but you can't take it with you, So like, I'm like, okay.
There's a
And
part
then,
that I did forget where so if you remember when Okoye wanted to take Shuri out, so basically Queen Ramonda was basically against it at first because she clearly knows like she's still grieving. She'll feel like she should step out at least. You know what I'm saying? So her mission was to make sure everything was good with Shuri, and I guess the mission went wrong. And which is crazy was just another part that shocked me. Like they literally kicked her out of Wakanda, which I was like, damn, like, which I understand how serious the situation was, but I was like, bro, like, and I know that plays a big part, like how it's gonna go forward too, because I'm like, bro, like without Chao being here, she's the main ones that stands out in terms of, like the Wakandas that's there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, they either gonna
yeah,
probably do like I don't want to say they're gonna probably do a show off that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I'm like, that's definitely something like that definitely stood out to me. I was like, oh shit, like they kicked out Okoye, like damn.
yeah. Basically, yeah. I mean, they kicked her out of the Dora Milaje, which is like, dang, like she like remember she was just like I'm a citizen now. She was just a citizen of Wakanda. Like she didn't have no rank. I'm like, dang, like,
But that's the
but
case. But if you feel like if you're not part, then you feel like you just an outsider. Then at that point, because you ain't go. They was I seen a rumor where they was like they gonna make a show where, because if you see how she was, her beginning character beginning, she was kind of against the outside world in the beginning. But the show will be like now where she gotta just see how it is. Just you know what I'm saying. Now the fact that she's kicked out of Wakanda now, you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
So I think that would be kind of pretty dope. How they if they do it like that, that will be pretty cool. But that was like
but
damn. Like,
thinking though, I'm thinking, did she get a spot back? Because like obviously sure, Charlotte and obviously in her like best friends, and then she also gave her that suit,
oh
or
yeah, you right. And technically, Queen Ramonda did die, and she the one that did kind of announce that. Damn, I didn't even think it. Yeah, you kind of right.
yeah,
I
but
didn't
I'm
think that
also
part.
but I'm also thinking since her and the other chick, the other ball chick,
And she
both wore those
actually,
suits.
yeah,
Because they got those suits now, and then since she got kicked up to Malaje, I mean, who knows if she comes back? But like, basically, she got kicked off, but then she came back to fight with the Queen, which is Shuri now, and she took on that suit. So I'm like, is it gonna be? Because I think called like the Midnight Sister or something like that, or I think the Midnight Angels. So, which in the comics that is a group. So I'm wondering, like, the Dora Milaje, like, will they become them, or will it just be Okoye, that other chick, and like maybe some other, recruits or something like that, while the Dora Milaje still remains the same, like that's the question, right? Yeah. I mean, we just gonna have to be vigilant and wait.
Right, just see how this go forward, bro. Cause, like I said, I didn't even think that this movie was even gonna happen. Right at a point, I thought because it was so many delays and it was just too much going on. Then people was like catching COVID and all like that, so I didn't know how. I thought it was gonna be to a point where he was just like, let's just either put this movie on hold or just let it go. But I thought they did the best they could because it's hard to say it's better than the first one because it's hard to look at this without T'Challa, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to look at this without T'Challa, you know what I mean? But even though in that first one, he wasn't even a standout character in his own movie, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't supposed to be it was supposed to get the whole like look of Wakanda, how this world is, and these people up in there, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I felt like he deserved to be honored in this because the way of how he enlightened his character, because it wasn't like he didn't want to be the face of this whole thing, even though he is the face of it. But if you clearly watch that movie, he wanted to, like, just Black Panther in general, just wanted his people of Wakanda to be discovered. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the whole point of the meeting at the end of the post-credit scene when he had the meeting with the people from the U.S. Like, we gonna basically share our stuff with the world. You know what I'm saying? Just discover our side of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we clearly know historically, like, my people hasn't been on the same page as y'all, and I want to change that. I want to break that fourth wall. So I love how they honored that with Chadwick in this one because, like I said, he definitely deserved that for sure.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of people a spotlight in that last one. So for him to get that send off, like, I feel like it was definitely right to do because it was either that or a recast. And I'm like, that could have went so bad if, like, they would just popped up with a whole other face, like, and we expected it just to continue like that. Anything that y'all want to put out before I get to the important part on here before we move on?
I'm just glad my boy Killmonger popped up again.
Oh yep, Killmonger. Now I ain't gonna lie with you, bro. I wasn't feeling to see because I was not trying to see him at first because I'm like the reason I was because I'm like there's no point of seeing him in this movie unless he was in the astral plane. That's the only reason I'm like that's the only makes sense if he was in it. But I'm like what? But my thing is like, why was he placing it in terms of Shuri though, knowing that she's the family of these Wakanda warriors? How did her out of all these Wakandans or anybody that take the mantle ever, how did she get to just see Killmonger? Like, I felt like that was just, I don't know.
I got about 3 reasons why, because
I just felt like that was
one, obviously, Chadwick gone, and not to mention he was one person of the last to have take the heart-shaped herb, so there's that.
Yeah.
Secondly, remember they is family. Just because you feel me, Chadwick seen his father, don't mean you feel me he could not have seen his grandfather or whoever it was. So there's my second guess, or third, most importantly, just bring somebody back, a familiar face that that they could be cool with.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my 3 guesses.
Yeah.
And like I said, now that was the biggest argument we did have on the what if, but after watching what if, that does kind of make sense on why he was off. Because if Killmonger was still alive, like he would be doing a whole lot of shady ass shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and again, that makes sense. I do agree with you saying that they wanted to bring somebody familiar, obviously. Plus, again, like you said, they are family, so it makes sense. I think the reason why, and this all popped up to me, because I saw it twice, the reason why she saw Killmonger over everybody else was because the reason she had taken the herb was to get vengeance. That's why she saw Killmonger. And everything that was built on Killmonger wanting to take over Wakanda was built on vengeance. That's why he kept asking her, why'd you take the herb? And she was like, and remember she said, to be strong. And he was like, bullshit. Like, you lying. Like, you have anger and rage. And then remember what she said when she told him, he was like, are you gonna be noble and get used like your brother, or are you gonna take care of business like me? And then she said, I'm gonna make him beg for mercy. So that's why she thought. Plus, also, they both didn't. Remember, he also told her, because they both didn't believe in the ancestral plane. He said, you didn't believe in the ancestral plane, did you? And she said no, because she thought it was like she believed in science. So all that led up to her not being able to see her ancestors because she didn't have the same faith and beliefs as them. Her beliefs and her beliefs and her will to take the herb aligned with Killmonger's reasons. And that is why then, if you notice, when she's standing over Namor and she's basically remembering everything between Wakanda and Talokan, she sees the same things from Wakanda that she's seen in Talokan, how similar they are. And then she says, vengeance has consumed us, just like Chadwick said. And then who does she see? She sees Ramonda, because she wasn't, even though she could have killed him, she had the same thing that came over Chadwick, forgiveness. And then that's when Ramonda was like, show him who you are. So that is why I believe that she saw Killmonger when she first took the herb, because her heart was in a different place.
Took my question right away, because I didn't even, I mean, like, as soon as you said that, now I think of the scene when he was saying that. Okay, now that makes sense, because she was built off the rage. Because I remember when she was telling her mama, like, when she was basically grieving and like that, like you said, she only believed in science, so she didn't believe nothing outside of that. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So yeah. I do remember that part. I remember when she was basically saying, like, I want to see the world burn. You know what I'm saying? So you can see she was built off rage the whole time. So, okay, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I looked at it like, okay, for instance, when we watch What If, when we seen that ending with Doctor Strange at the end, and when you watch Doctor Strange 2, it's clearly that's the same Doctor Strange, bro. I mean, it's pretty clear. So I'm like, I do not want to see that with Killmonger, bro, because that would take away everything he did, that he said from the first one. And that's why I was like, I'm hoping they don't go that route. That's why I was thinking at first. But when I seen he was in the astral plane, and when he started breaking down his theories of why he was in it, like what you just said, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, now that takes away Okay, that makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, bro, I hope they do not throw that What If shit up in here, bro. Because I'm like, we do not need to see that with Killmonger now, bro.
Argument back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that What If, but I was like, I was not, because like I said with Doctor Strange 2, I was like, it's cool, but it wasn't, it did not reach expectations. That's why I was like, nah, bro. I hope they do not do that with this.
Because she was, again, like she was pretty much just embodied our rage. Because remember when she even came out and this is what I love. Oof, I love her freaking character, freaking Nakia. She kind of already knew who she had seen, but she was trying to get it out of her, because she was like, "Who'd you see?" And she was like, "No one." But she knows you had to see someone because you went to the ancestral plane. That's just how it was. Like, it's the same thing. How can I say? It's the same thing. Like when Killmonger saw his father. Killmonger saw his father and not his uncle or none of the ancestors, because him and his father were on the same plane. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that's,
like you know what I'm saying? Like he saw his dad, and obviously, which it was a good thing he saw his dad, because his dad told him, like, look what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's why he couldn't see Wakanda on the ancestral plane. What did he see? Their apartment.
Yeah, their apartment in Oakland, right? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
that's how it is. And then when Shuri came up, and she was mad. She was like, "How come he didn't come for me?" Because you aren't ready to see him yet. You know what I'm saying? Like you know. So I like how they did that, because it was like, damn, that's actually smart. And then she does see the ancestral plane at the end when she sees her mom. So. Like, I like how Ryan Coogler put those little pieces together. It was like, you know, it was, again, the movie was a good movie overall, I think, and I like stuff like that. It's just tough.
Yeah. For everybody that know Killmonger, you know, well, especially me, that you should know that everything about his plan is always revenge or some something that was done to him back then, or something that it was told no, and I'm grown now, so let's see if you could tell me no. Mm-hmm. So, and not to mention the touch on, because remember how even when they was going on their way to Wakanda, it was like, oh, you can scar your body all you like, you feel me? You still, and all those, that's for everyone killed. So it's like, at the end of the day,
Yep.
It's crazy how both of them are cousins, because they both was thinking alike that whole movie, for real. Mm-hmm. It's sad how it had to come to the end for her to realize, just like how her brother did, that revenge ain't gonna help this. It's probably gonna fucking mess it up more.
Exactly.
But, it just basically touched on everything, like how you said, like how Killmonger seen his father, she seen him. They both had the same path on why they took the herb, and even when he got up from seeing his father, you see he was ready to kill.
Yeah.
So, which was the same way how she got up. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm still irritated. I seen him.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's crazy how both of them, because I see how they family, they think just alike. But let's, to the next topic, my brother.
The biggest problem I remember people talk about with the first one was the fighting scene at the end with the CGI and all like that, which I will say they definitely stepped it up with the CGI in this one. They definitely did. Which
they did.
Which, I mean, to be fair with the first one, I heard it was a situation with that first one which they always got to rush shit because, things got to be put in order, so you got to rush a certain thing to have things done, so I can understand that, so I was like, for sure. But the ending battle was cool, even though I felt like he kind of was holding back, but I don't want to just say that because I'm like, this is Shuri. We know eventually she do takes the mantle, and eventually she do fights him actually. So I'm like, but I was just like, I want to just see how this fight, how the conflict between them two go forward, because I feel like they both was holding back. Like she could have killed him off, he could have killed her off when he stabbed her. You know what I'm saying? And she could have did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, just imagine if Chadwick was still alive and that battle would have happened, bro. Like, that's what's so unfortunate about this movie. Like, this movie proves that this movie would have been 10 times better if this man was still alive. Like, because you can immediately look at the differences between them two, you know what I'm saying? Like, the conversations they would have had together, you know what I'm saying? And, like, just with the fighting battles, that would have been epic, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been something, like people would have been, like, looking at going forward, too. So, I'm like, it's unfortunate. I feel like that's the only downfall about this movie it's unfortunate, but I'm like, I mean, it is what it is. They did the best they can do.
Yeah.
But it's great that they honored that dude, bro. Like, I'm glad that they did that. So they technically she win the battle, whatever, and they so technically they. Well, I want to say technically they win round one. I'll say that in terms of Wakanda and the people from like Sokola and whatever. So clearly they gonna have another. Even though Namor try to make it seem like they on good terms, but it's clearly he gonna come back and do some more damage eventually. Like he got something up his sleeve, bro. Right?
Like how I said. Yeah. With his son, is his son gonna be on the? You know what you talking about? Wakanda? If this world, I'm about to take this over, or is it gonna be? Okay, I kind of see where you coming from now. Let me try to see these footsteps that you're taking.
I think his son is going to be noble just like him, because the way Nakia is raising him, she's raising him to see the world outside of Wakanda, so he can appreciate Wakanda when he goes there. I think that he's going to obviously we know he's going to be the heir to the throne now, because now there's another descendant. Also, again, I think it was good because even when Nakia said it, she said that obviously T'Challa knew about it and Ramonda knew about it. Outside of them two, no one knew. So they also all agreed that the place that they lived in Haiti was a great place to raise him. Why? Because it was that part of Haiti was very culturalistic, and it taught you a lot about, like, if you noticed, all the kids there played together. They all showed respect. When they
it was all love. It was
right,
all...
like when they even saw the queen coming, they didn't know who she was. They were just like, They were just like I forget what they said, but they were speaking French, and they were like hello, 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 like they pretty much they were talking
Like
respect.
gave
So
her
I'm
that
sure that
respect.
he's gonna grow up. Yeah, I'm sure that the son, T'Challa Jr., is gonna grow up to be just as noble as well. You know what I'm saying? Plus, he has his aunt now to teach him things too. So, here's the thing. Here's the only thing. My only question. First off, I want to know if this T'Challa is gonna actually end up being with Storm, because obviously T'Challa couldn't, right? Chadwick Boseman couldn't. So I wonder if this T'Challa, because it's still T'Challa, right? Like in the comics, like it was T'Challa. It didn't say it was T'Challa's son or his father or blah, blah, blah. So they could kind of bring that in, which will bring in the X-Men also, because who just got introduced? A mutant. You feel what I'm saying? So it's all kind of lining up to like bringing in the mutants. You feel me? So I'm like, that would be cool because he's young now. There is no Storm in the MCU, so maybe they could bring a Storm in the MCU and have her be young like him, grow up, and then what I'm saying, like.
What if she's out that same place where you saying like Lupita's from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she could actually be like either she could be. They could make her where she could be from Wakanda, or that place where you just said in the kid, like where she made that place. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
exactly, because Storm is from. It didn't. Because Storm was never from Wakanda. Storm was from a country near Wakanda. Like she was just. I mean, it could be. You could be Uganda, Haiti, Egypt, whatever. Actually, I think it was Egypt. I think Storm in the comics
probably was Egypt, the most likely.
Yeah, I think so. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are all, black countries. So
I'm only gonna comment on that, but I'm only saying this, bro.
Go ahead.
And not to say, because everything you are saying is on point. That possibly could happen. But I'm only saying this: if she is up in Egypt, wouldn't she have to run into the Moon Knight?
No, well, yes, I think she could, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's that possibility of how that could come out, possibly.
Right?
Whatever MCU choose to do, but that if that was to happen, that probably would make that would make it better. That would make.
And you know what? You actually kind of own to something, because here's the thing. So, like you just brought up Moon Knight, and I know, obviously, I mean, this is off topic, but it's on topic because what I'm saying is going to turn over. So remember how in Egypt they had that big fight, right? That everybody saw, right? Mm-hmm. Like, whatever. They had that big fight. I'm like, that could bring. Like, think about it. That could bring out some heroes. Like Storm, could have been. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it don't matter. And it don't matter where they make her from. But I'm just saying, like, it could be like certain heroes are like, man, like, I remember last time, I was just a kid. They had this damn big old crocodile fighting this damn skeleton, and I had to use my like, what I'm saying, like, who knows, bro? Like, it's so many different possibilities with what they can do and how they can bring in certain characters. The only thing that we know is now the MCU has mutants, and that is a huge door opened for different possibilities for any characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because that ending part, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that, like, because when I seen the kid, because I was like, to see her appearance again, I was like, what would be her role in this movie now, the fact that Chadwick is no longer here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so that was my biggest question with her, too. So, the part, now, that was my second, if she was pregnant, because I'm like, it was clearly like that was like her, that was his love interest, everything, so I was thinking, like, that was kind of back in my head, but I was thinking, at first, when she made, that's why I first thought, when Shuri made that suit in the beginning, I thought that was for her at first. That's why I thought it was for her, because you remember in the first one, how she made when she gave her the little thing, and she had the little
battle shit.
Right, yeah, that's why I thought it was similar like that. That's why I thought it was at first, but then, you just see that she basically was just, out doing her own thing, whatever, but then, when she had that conversation with the mama, that conversation stood out so much, because just based off the way she was explaining it told so much. Like, I already knew what she was basically trying to tell her. Like, when she was just, like, explaining, like, she was saying how, like, basically T'Challa was everything to her. Like, that's basically what, like, basically saying like basically my father to be would be like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what woman would say to a father to be. You know what I'm saying? So
Bruh,
I'm like,
you
I
know
was
what?
like,
I
hold
just
on, wait. And then when it ended was like,
yeah,
I got something to tell you. I'm like, oh no, they about to do this. I'm like, oh bro, hell nah.
bruh.
I
Do
was
you know
like,
what I just,
hell nah.
bruh? Do you know what I just thought about? Oh my goodness, bruh. Wow.
Well, go ahead.
Dang, that's crazy to me. Man, this movie was actually so good because it's so ways I'm thinking. So remember when Ramonda brought Shuri and she said, you don't need your Kimoyo beads because we're going, you won't need them, blah blah blah. Remember right before Namor popped up, right? And she was talking about it was right after Shuri said, if I think about my brother for too long, it won't be the clothes I burn the world. Remember when Ramonda was like, I have to tell you something. Do you think she was about to tell her that she had a nephew?
It could have been that. It could have been.
I really think that that's what she was about to tell her because she was like, you are in so much pain and you say you want to burn the world, but do you know that you have a nephew? Your brother had a son. Like, I really feel like that's what she's about to say, but then the more popped up and they had to get in defense mode.
That makes sense because like it will like why would she take her away from like Wakanda? She would just basically want to take her away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that do make sense, bro.
Right? I'm like, that is so true. And Ramonda, like she said, Ramonda was the only one outside of obviously T'Challa because it was his son that knew, but no one else knew. Not the Dora Milaje, not Okoye, who's her best friend. Like, no one knew but the king and the queen, bro. That was it. Like, that's freaking crazy to me. And I think that is what she was going to tell Shuri, but she never got the chance to do it.
And see, man, that's a big, that's something that's what's so heartbreaking about this because like she didn't live to get to tell her daughter that she had like basically a nephew here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's why I was saying like,
it's all good.
But yeah, that was something that I was like, that's the only reason I could defend her death in terms because I'm like, that's a whole part that's like that can hit you right there. The fact that you like, damn, like she didn't even get the, you know what I'm saying, let her know like real stuff. You know what I mean? Right. Now she got to deal with this grief not only over her brother, now she got to deal with this grief over her mother too. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's going to be the thing with, same thing with Chadwick. He had to, with T'Challa, like he had to do the same grief with his father and like with his uncle too when Killmonger killed the uncle and everything. So I'm like, I feel like it's all going to just come together like just similar parallel, just like how her brother, you know what I'm saying, took the mess and everything. Because at this point now, we know she got the suit, but I feel like she don't feel like she deserves that mantle yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why she had to leave away and get away, and that's why she had to go see the key and everything like that. So
you know, the only thing that kind of confused me was, remember, and I know he stepped in for her place because she left, but I wonder if because like you said, that's a good point, like she might not be ready to be queen. But remember when when M'Baku got off and he was just like, oh, she sends her regards, and he was like, I, M'Baku, am here to challenge for the throne. I was like, is she giving the throne to him because T'Challa and him were very close, and he promised T'Challa that he would be her guide, and her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if like, is he gonna be the king of Wakanda now? Like, because
that would be great. Because I'm like, she gonna eventually gonna want it back,
right? I'm just like, cause she left. I mean, I don't know if she left to go like seek a new life. I mean, obviously Wakanda's gonna be her home, but like if she just went to like kind of like how Nakia did, right? Nakia she was a Wakanda citizen for many years. She fought as a warrior, but she
hold on.
Traveled around the world.
My connection messing up. Let me call y'all back.
Just go ahead, bro. For sure.
But like, you know what I'm saying, like how she pretty much left, because remember she even told T'Challa, she was like, there's a whole world out there, you know, and people need help, right? I wonder if like Shuri's gonna like take on that mantle as well. It's like, I'm gonna use, because think about it, bro, she's smart as hell, she makes everything, she created the heart-shaped herb, bro. She creates weapons. She creates the crazy superpowered suits, like all that. So I wonder, is she gonna like probably go to like a university of like like an institutional tech type of thing, or what she's gonna do to like probably help the world. Just how when Nakia told Chadwick, and Chadwick told the other dude, he was like, Nakia thinks we should be doing more, outreaches, things like that, So I mean, it's that's the thing that this movie, because that's the thing. Like I know this movie was a heartache for a lot of people, and it was emotional, and it was up and down, and blah blah blah. And it was a great movie, a lot of action, but there's so many different possibilities with what they can do because the characters, not only that they brought in, but how they made this movie and questions and stuff like that have popped up, kind of leave you guessing. Like, man, I don't know how this can go. Like, I mean, like you said, it opened up so many possibilities for so many different stories.
Yeah, it definitely did. Especially the fact that you revealed that he has a son, which we was kind of like, it was either they was gonna go that route or they was gonna just completely recast him. Which I'm like, that saved a lot of like controversy right there. Because I'm like,
exactly, because T'Challa did have a son, so that does make it a lot easier to cast again, because you know who I heard they were actually trying to cast for Black, which I could see, because I don't know if I've ever seen, I don't know if y'all seen The Woman King yet, but they were thinking about probably casting John Boyega, and I was like, I mean, it opens up possibilities of like
what to play
younger
T'Challa
Black.
Jr.
Huh?
What to play T'Challa Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I mean,
anybody can do it now because it's a recast and it's his son.
It's his
not
son,
like,
right? Yeah, so it could be anybody. It could be
So it really takes the pressures off the directors and the producers, because ain't nobody gonna be like, oh, I'm not watching it because they're recasting Chadwick. It's like, yeah, I mean, they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Now the real question is, how long we gotta wait to see this man cause but if you remember last time we seen Cassie Lang, bro, she was then at like 4 or 5 years old in the first Ant-Man, but if you see as time went past since the Avengers, bro, she's a teenager now. So it's like, we don't know, and plus we in the multiverse now, so I'm like, we'll never know what Kang gonna do with this multiverse. Like, we'll probably end up in the future or something, and he'll probably end up a teenager. He'll probably be older. You know what I mean? So
yep. So exactly, like we don't know, because now, like, and that's a good point you brought up, T, because now, especially when this Ant-Man come out, the reason why this saga is gonna be so much more different than the Infinity Saga. I mean, the Infinity Saga hands down was like the best. Like that,
man,
that's gonna be hard to replace.
You can't top it.
That's gonna be hard to replace.
Right?
It's gonna be hard to.
It's like, it's gonna be crazy. Like Phase 4 is gonna be crazy because it's dealing with time now. So now it's like niggas could be, you feel me? Niggas could be freaking like it could go forward, backwards. Like, bro, what? Like, you could bring in so many characters. Like, you know what? Me and my homeboy was talking, and we was like, bro, you could bring in, because we're dealing with time, right? We're dealing with time and travel and all stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you could bring in characters like, who have we seen already, right? We've seen in Deadpool, Cable, right? What is Cable? A time traveler. Like, you can bring so many different, like, different characters, like, and then also superpowered beings are like, who are like gods. Like, you can bring in, obviously, when you're dealing with time, you're dealing with Galactus, you're dealing with Korvac, you're dealing with like, it's so many. You're dealing with Sentry, you're dealing with Hyperion and all these other characters, because you're dealing with time and space now. So it's like, dang, bro, like, what portal is this dude gonna open up where he gonna cause a whole bunch of trouble? You know what I'm saying? And what powers does this dude have? Because I mean, Kang has so many different powers. Like, he has like super futuristic weapons that can easily harm the Avengers, and then also his battle tactics, his intelligence, his experience, and also his allies throughout time. So it's like, 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 man, like Iron Lad, Iron Lad is actually Kang, but Iron Lad was a part of the Young Avengers who became Kang centuries down the road in time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember actually watching the animation version on that and the comic where Iron Lad was like, he was, you know, the Young Avenger, and he tried to fight his future self from becoming Kang.